I would like to extend a warm welcome to everyone for our Q4 and FY18 earnings conference call for the fourth quarter and the full year ended March 31st, 2018. I have with me our Investor Relations partner, Bridge Investor Relations, our Compliance Officer, Mr. Hitesh, and our Finance and Accounts Head, Mr. Singh. We have shared our results update presentation, which is now uploaded on the exchanges, and I hope you must all have gone through the same. Before we discuss the financial performance, I would like to give you a brief overview of our company. Lasa Supergenerics Ltd is a demerged entity of Qtr4 Specialty Chemicals, and Lasa was acquired by OSCL in the year 2011 with a turnover of 1 crore. The company was in the business of manufacturing veterinary APIs with the state-of-the-art manufacturing facilities that had a FDA and other necessary approvals. We saw a lot of value in it and could foresee an immensely scalable business proposition in it. In June 2017, Lasa got demerged from Qtr4 Specialty Chemicals and got listed in September 2017. Our company offers a variety of anthelmintics with an extensive product portfolio. We initially started with just a couple of products when we acquired Lasa, and today we are manufacturing almost 15 different anthelmintic products in the veterinary API segment. The company manufactures benzimidazole class of APIs, a very old and essential part of the veterinary pharma market and one of the most difficult to manufacture products. The company also manufactures other products like amides, imidazothiazoles, piperazines, etc. This together form almost around 70% of the anthelmintic market. Some of the products that our company manufactures are albendazole, fenbendazole, halpinol, oxbendazole, etc. We have a strong knowledge of and expertise in the field of the catalyst, and we have used this knowledge and experience to develop different classes of catalysts to create a great economic model for our operations. With the use of the catalyst, the rate of chemical reaction can increase. That would improve the yield. This helps us to cut down the cost, lessen the time, lessen the raw material usage, lessen the effluents, and increase the output of our finished product. Our basic raw materials are benzene derivatives which are derived from crude petroleum. Since dependence on the suppliers for the raw materials was putting a lot of pressure, so the company became fully backward integrated to a large extent for most of its products. Today we have 4 state-of-the-art manufacturing facilities located in Chiplun and Mahad in the Konkan region of Maharashtra. These are all vertically integrated manufacturing units, and the company has a strong pipeline of process patents filed for the same. Developing catalysts based on process will continue to be one of the prime focus in the areas to create entry barriers and maintain competitive edges. I would like to share with you all via this platform that our company has received a WHO GMP certification for the Mahad unit. On April 11, 2018, our Mahad unit located in Mahad MIDC had received a WHO GMP certification. This was post an inspection done by the regulatory officials Commissioner of Food and Drugs Administration on 6 July 2017 and 7 July 2017. This WHO GMP certification will remain valid for next 2 years, that is until 10th April 2020. It becomes invalid if the activities and or categories certified herewith are changed or if the site is no longer considered to be in the GMP compliance. For any chemical company, the biggest risk is the dynamism of the regulatory norms. These norms keep on changing. Lasa is aware of the fact, and we are committed towards adopting environment-friendly and sustainable process technologies so that we can control the discharges from all our units. We are aware of our responsibility in building a sustainable ecosystem. We are trying to match steps with our rapidly growing economy with one of the goal in the mind that this is to become a leading player in veterinary API market in India and globally. We establish ourselves as a trusted supplier of veterinary APIs not only by making our processes fully backward integrated, but by also entering into forward integration. Going ahead, we plan to add more products to our portfolio at this time. At the same time, we continue to remain focused on making backward integration also. That is another part of our core manufacturing process. Having said this, I would now like to move on to our quarterly and full yearly result performances. The financial performance for the full year ended has been in line with our expectations in terms of revenue and profitability. The net revenue for Q4 18 stood to be 59.31 crores. EBITDA for Q4 stood to be minus 0.57 crore. PAT for Q4 FY18 stood at Q4 FY18 stood at minus 6.47 crores. Coming to the full year-ended FY18 numbers, FY18 net revenue stood at 243.53 crores as compared to 198.75 crores in FY17. We registered a growth of 23%. EBITDA for FY18 stood at 41.26 crores. Net profit for FY18 stood at 12.34 crores with a growth of 422%. EPS for FY18 stood at 5.4 crores as compared to 1.15 crores in FY17 with a growth of 317%. We expect the growth for the first half to be a little muted and expect to pick up from the second half onwards. I would like to state here that Lasa has an excellent team of professionals who have been working tirelessly to bring this company to where it is today. I thank each member of my team for their contribution. Thank you very much. We can now take the questions.
Sure, thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Participants who wish to ask questions may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking questions. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while
Silent.
Participants who wish to ask questions may press star and 1. We have the first question from the line of Arpit Maheshwari from SSB Advisory Private Limited. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Actually, I want to know that why this loss will happen. This is because of rising food prices and all that.
No, sir, your voice is a little disturbing, sir.
Actually, I am saying that why this loss happens in the bottom line. This is because of your cost of consumables has gone up from, I think, 3,000 lakhs to 5,000 lakhs.
Yeah, sir.
So
you will see over here that the loss which has happened is in the gross profit. The gross profit which was reported in this quarter was 5%, whereby our usual gross profits is in the range of 30%, 26 to 30% is our range, which is generally seen in our kind of products with backward integration. However, the loss in the gross profit which happened resulted in the loss in the EBITDA too. The loss in the gross profit was only because of the high petroleum prices, the spike up in the petroleum prices which you have seen, as well as the volatility of the dollars also. So it was very uncertain for the foreign suppliers also to quote a very concrete price. That's the reason why there was a loss in the gross profit.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Vinay Pai, who's an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Yeah, very good morning.
My first question is, the 3 quarters of the results, that is the Q1, Q2, Q3 of the past financial year, okay, they were not audited numbers, whereas only the Q4 was audited. My question is, how, since you have reported the loss in the 4th quarter, how credible are the first 3 quarter numbers? Because they are not audited, right?
Yeah, of course, they are not audited. H1 is audited. Huh? See, it is not audited. It is a limited review for the first 3 quarters.
Yeah.
There is a limited review. So, really, the credibility question I can't answer. It is up to you, to understand. We are very open and transparent. Even anybody wants to come and see our books, you are very much open to do that.
Okay. As a analyst, as an outside analyst, how the analyst would prefer that the promoter would increase his shareholding in the quarters, in the quarters going ahead. Right. So, when the share price was so less, why doesn't the promoter buy from the market if he is so confident of the company?
See, buying from the market at this juncture, company is in a need of severe cash. and company is growing, company requires capex, company requires money for his operations, and promoter has funded almost 15 crores to company in the last half year, that is in the Q3 and Q4. 15 crores is given by the promoter to the company, which is being utilized for routine operations as well as for capex. So, buying from the market at this juncture, we feel that in the growth mode, company requires money, and that is what we have taken a very reasonable and very important step, which has currently made all the operations of the company very sustainable.
Okay, and going ahead in the coming quarters, that is the first quarter, second quarter, now that, we know that the crude price is high.
There is a last transaction of 11 lakh shares between my father and me, which is about to happen. The corporate action will be filed very soon. Okay, once the corporate action will be filed, within say a time period of 15 days, total 36% of shareholding will belong to me. So 36% of shareholding I will be sitting upon within the upcoming days. Post that, whatever acquisition is to be done from the market or else, I don't know how does the cash flow permit us. So depending on that, we'll keep you updated.
And
Mr. Pai, but maybe request you to return to the question queue for follow-up questions, as there are several participants waiting for their turn. Thank you. Before we take the next question, we'd like to inform participants that in order to ensure that the management is able to address questions from all participants in the conference, please limit your questions to 2 per participant. Should you have a follow-up question, we request you to rejoin the queue. The next question is from Rushit Parekh from Capital Markets. Please go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity. I'm actually quite surprised, when the management says that they are the annual performance is on an expected line. Because forget the PAT level, if you see the PBT level, there is a fall of 46%. And even at the operating profit level, there is a fall of 9%. Now, I just want to understand, first question is, when we say that we are nearly or fully backward integrated, what do you mean by backward integrated? And to what extent this volatility in crude can affect our performance at the gross profit level?
Right, shall I answer?
Yeah, please.
We are fully backward integrated. We are fully backward integrated to the level of the basic petroleum derivatives which we import or else we buy from the domestic market. Being backward integrated doesn't mean that, the company is a foolproof in posting just profits. It many times happens that the crude rates are skyrocketed to such an extent that even being fully backward integrated also doesn't make sense. The same thing has happened over here in the last quarter, where the petroleum prices have shot up. You can take examples of any other companies who are dealing with petroleum products, and many of the business models, I'm not saying all maybe, but many of the business models, there are at least, thousands of chemicals which are derived from crude. So not necessarily one company depending on crude may post profit and other may post loss. This may happen. So the same case has happened with us. We basically deal with a class of petroleum products called as nitrobenzenes, nitroanilines, which have gone up drastically. I can show you the proofs. Even if you write the mail, we can even send you the, purchase orders of the raw materials which we bring, and we can explain you, we can show you the graphs of how the raw material costs have increased drastically. And it will be very convincing for you. That's the reason why we are very transparent. You can come down to our office or else any analyst can visit us, see our purchases and then get convinced rather than me speaking anything. And really the rise in the crude prices have impacted our margins. This may not be every time this thing happening, but for at least in the last quarter it has happened. And it is quite possible that maybe in the upcoming future also a drastic or a crazy increase in the crude prices may impact our margins.
But if you can quantify, that would actually, help in terms of...
Or you want product-wise?
Yeah,
very wonderful.
On an average, what will...
Very wonderful. I am coming to the point.
Yeah.
Our top 3 products, you can note it down if you want, are albendazole, fenbendazole and hulquinol. These are our top 3 products. The key raw material for fenbendazole is hydrazine hydrate, 2,4-DCNB and thiophenol. These are the 3 raw materials. All the 3 raw materials have gone up 300% up. 300% up. Okay. In cases also 400% up. I think this call is on record, so I mean, like, you can take a reference of these 3 raw materials, whereby the cost of fenbendazole has not gone up because the formulations doesn't support it. The moment I increase the price and try to increase the price of my finished product, the formulation should sustain it. You should take this in mind. And if the formulation doesn't sustain it, the formulation goes on a pause. So that has happened in the case of fenbendazole. In case of albendazole, there is a critical raw material called as bromine. Bromine is certainly not a petroleum product, but it's an element. The bromine prices have doubled, or else rather more than doubled. Sorry, it was 100 rupees in the Q3, and today bromine price stands to around 300 rupees. You can check in the public domain, in the chemical market. Albendazole prices have not gone up, sir. Albendazole prices are same. This has impacted our margins. There is one more product by the name of orthonitroaniline, which is used in albendazole. Earlier prices were 150 rupees. Today the prices are 240 rupees. These are the differences. Okay? Coming to Hulquinol, our main raw material is 2,4-DCP, 2,4-dichlorophenol, which we have recently started manufacturing in our unit number 4 as a part of the backward integration process. And the starting material for that is a chlorophenol. The prices have almost doubled. These are the 3 reasons for my 3 products for which the rise in the petroleum prices have impacted my margins. It is very genuine. If you want to see in detail how much purchase I have done per raw material, you can certainly drop in down to my office with some analysts. You can see my purchase cost and then arrive at a conclusion. Thank you very much.
My second question is on we always used to say that generally the increase in raw material prices can be passed on with a time lag.
Yeah, now, to an extent. It is to an extent. It happens that if your finished product prices go on soaring beyond a particular reasonable extent, the formulations are not competitive. The formulators will simply stop the production. I mean, they cannot sell the formulations in the market. It has happened in the past in many kind of drugs. You take an example of folic acid. Which is one of the vitamin in the basic human system. Folic acid prices were 2,500 to 3,000 rupees a kg. It went up to 15,000 rupees a kg. All the formulations went down. Formulators stopped formulating because they were not able to sustain the pricing. Same happened with vitamin B12 also. I can give you at least a dozen of products where the formulations have become non-competitive because of the rise in the API price. The same thing has happened, and it is just an unlikely situation. It happens sometime. It is not every day. In the last 7 years, Lasa has not seen this phase. But this time it has seen, and it is genuinely the case of the rise in the raw material price.
No, my question is not that. My question is that assuming that the raw material prices remain at the current level, okay? Then what happens in terms of the time lag? Is there a possibility that
No, sir. That's the reason why I have already mentioned that the growth in the first 2 quarters will be muted. That is because we are not having a clarity. We are really not having a clarity what is the raw material price going to be. See, there was an approximation that there is some plant which is closed down because of which there is a raw material shortage. I would have able to comment this plant is going to start and then the supplier is going to supply me with raw materials. But there is no clarity. Whenever we ask the supplier, there are the reasons that there are some environment issues or there are some other issues, from the supplier's point of view I am talking. So there is no clarity. So I really don't know how many days this will continue. So we expect at least for a quarter time it may continue, it may not continue also. And I have already orated you the name of the raw materials. You can check it from the public domain.
Sure. So just last question in continuation with that.
Sorry to interrupt you, but maybe request you to return to the question queue for follow-up questions as there are several participants waiting for their turn. Thank you. The next question is from the line of Abhijit Patadkar from Abhijit Investments. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, sir. Abhijit here.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Yeah, I just wanted to know 2 things. One is there is an exceptional item of 26 crore last year. This is related to what extent?
Exceptional item was a write-off of the demerger. The last year exceptional item was there was a this Lasa was being demerged from its parent company Onkar Specialty, and there were a lot of stocks, inventories, capital assets which were not of use to us. In fact, those were needed to be modified or, the design from the design perspective or from the qualification perspective. So from that point of view, it was written off. It was been communicated in the last conference call. So this is nothing a new item.
No, I'm first time I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
And second thing is, I just wanted to know, there is the outbreak of this Nipah virus in Kerala. Since it's spread through pig.
Okay.
Any business opportunity for Lasa in this particular?
No, sir. These viruses and all cannot be. First of all, these viral diseases cannot be cured by medicines. They are to be either cured by vaccines or by immunotherapy agents. So we are neither into vaccines nor into immunotherapy agents. So we really can't comment on this. We are into benzimidazoles, which are useful in deworming as well as putting up lean muscle mass in cattle.
Okay.
Right, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question is from Samit Sharma from Idea Ventures. Please go ahead.
Yeah, my question is, in terms of the top line, there was an acquisition done in the last quarter.
Right.
Abhinandan.
Right.
So where is that top line growth? From what I can see, there's been not much of a growth, Q and Q.
Yeah.
And a related question, sir, is that you mentioned that raw material cost has gone up.
Right.
But I see I think in quarter 2 also your raw material cost was again at 52 crores or something, at which point the oil prices were pretty muted.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Can you please repeat your last statement? I was not, I really little bit overheard it. Can you please?
Yeah, so the second part of the question is that in Q2 of 2018, the raw material cost that is there is again around 52 crores odd, which is similar to what you got in Q4. Now, Q4 you say is because of the high oil prices, but in Q2 last year, there was no such scenario.
Q2 last year. Oh, I have to refer it. One second.
Q2 last year.
This
52 crores.
52 crores is what?
In September 17, if you look at the consumption of raw materials, it's 52 crores, right? Which is very similar to the current quarter result.
Sir, this is current year. It is not last year, sir. It is Q2 this year, Q2 FY18.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying the quarter ended September 17.
Okay.
The raw material cost was similar to this quarter. So why is this volatility there, even though the oil prices were not high at that time? That's the second part of the question.
So I'll answer your question stepwise. First about the Abhinandan Rasayan. In the case of Abhinandan Rasayan, the recent acquisition which you have done, okay, we have not yet received the possession of the premises. Things are still into a due diligence stage and is still going on, and it's very premature to comment over anything at this moment. As soon as the deal goes through, we will notify you through the exchanges, and maybe in a very short span of time, some notification is expected to happen. So this is about Abhinandan. Certainly, if you start this production over there, it will be a fully backward integrated and will be very much supportive to the current manufacturing setup which they are having. So number one. Number two, this Q2 of FY18 which you have seen, yes, the raw material prices are somewhat similar to this. However, only you should not take into consideration the raw material prices over here, since other things like other operating expenses and other things which are there are currently mashing up the EBITDA, total EBITDA to 18% this year. And raw material prices are very, very subjective. It happens like this. It is not, as you know, petroleum, crude and other non-petroleum items also like chloroalkali products like acids, then other solvents which are molasses based. So everything put together, raw material prices are expected to fluctuate quarter on quarter. This quarter we saw a really very much jump up in the raw material prices, because of which the other parameters like PBT and EBITDA and other things came negative or flat.
Okay, thank you.
One second, just a second. Please continue. One second. Hello.
Yeah.
42 divided by 64. 65%.
Again, sorry sir, again, just trying to explain you in a different way. If you go to see by the percent raw material price, it is in Q2 of FY18, it is 65% is the raw material cost, sir. 65%, whereby this year the raw material, in the last quarter the raw material prices are 91%. I think so. See, you see there is in the bracket, there is a change in inventory, there is one column which states 9.38 crores. So that is not seen, that is being overlooked, I think so. So please check it. In Q2 the raw material prices were 65% of the revenue. And it was very much in line with Q1, Q2 and Q3. Only in Q4 there is a jump in raw material prices, cost of raw materials. Please recheck.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question is from Deepankar Nayak, who's an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Mukar, for all your the transparency you're answering. So the question is there a crude price beyond which we will not reach break-even? Can you give us an indicator beyond which you are not able to pass on the pricing to your customers, and therefore it becomes or can become not sustainable, your business?
Right. See, there are two types of customers, whereby one is the government contracted customers, okay, and other are the routine customers, off-the-shelf customers. So I may say that if you ask me what is the kind of the worst raw material prices beyond which I cannot pass on any benefit to the customer, it is the today's price which we are sitting on. The today's price where it is very difficult for us to manufacture, earn profits and pass the same on to customers. So you may assume either we have to bring down the sale and only cater to few people where low volume, high value sale can be done. However, the high volume and low value sale is currently not possible in this situation. So the current situation is the worst situation, you may say. I don't think the situation may be more worse than this.
Okay, thank you. And my second question is, can you give us an outlook for the next quarter in terms of top line and bottom line? Will we be still loss-making in the next quarter?
For top line, I may say that until we get further much clarity over the prices and all, I think so we will just be able to maintain the top line as on the fourth quarter which is there. If there is some drastic change in the cost of raw materials, our growth may come to around say 15% or so.
Okay, and the bottom line?
Bottom line is again the same, sir. Bottom line is top line we can commit. For bottom line again it is very subjective. So bottom line, as our products, 8 to 10% is the bottom line which we expect for our kind of products. I have been maintaining this for a few years now. And it is really practical to assume a 8 to 10% of PAT figures. So certainly that much are achievable provided everything else is online.
Okay, thank you.
Right, thank you.
Thank you. Next question is from Ganesh Shetty, who is an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Good afternoon.
Yeah, very good afternoon. Tell me, sir.
Yeah. Sir, I just want to ask regarding the sustainability of financial performance for our company. And we are on our way for right issue during the coming year, but due to the very uncertainty of operations as well as finances, as well as for some extent NPAs at your parent company, Omkar Specialties, the things are getting from bad to worse. I know there are macroeconomic challenges, crude oil price rise, nothing is supporting us. But, as a company, when we want to build a reputable and a good company going forward, which is beneficial to the investors as well as promoters, as well as for the company as a whole, for all stakeholders, how the road ahead for our company, how the planning is ahead for the company in such circumstances. Can you please throw some light on this, sir?
So the future for Lasa is extremely bright. Extremely means as bright as sun, because we are almost monopolizing into certain products. We have a wonderful infrastructure. any of the investors can come any point of time and any time see my factories. Certainly you will appreciate, always you will appreciate. There is hardly anyone who has not appreciated as on the date. Regulatory approvals, we are top notch. We have almost all the regulatory approvals which are required to promote business into international markets. Human infrastructure, again, we are very top notch. We have very good team of technocrats, experts, specialists, specializing into benzimidazole derivatives. So, like, future for Lasa is extremely bright. Order book is also always very good. Just, in the current scenario where the crude prices and all are, very much turbulent, yet our order book of the contracted orders are good. Only we are not able to get a good margins in it, but the order book is vibrant. So selling is also not a problem. Dependency over the raw material supply is also not a problem because we directly buy from basic petrochemical manufacturers. So supply is also not a problem. Customer dependency is also not a problem since the biggest customer is not more than 5%. So again, we don't have any dependency over anybody So overall, if you go to see Lasa in a broader perspective, yeah, I know them in in the current turbulent market situation, there has been a phenomenal loss to the investors. It's a transient loss. It's a very, very temporary loss. I mean, people may take it in any way. I mean, I don't have to say anything over it, but only time will show. I am myself a qualified individual. I have done my postdoctorate in organic chemistry, plus I have done my MBA in finance. So, myself, I am really extremely confident to take Lasa ahead in terms of business growth, in terms of infrastructure growth and everything. Only time will show it. Right now, irrespective of how much I shout or how much I try to convince you, it will be really difficult for me to completely convince you, but only time will show it. And if you go to see business models who have benefited investors in the long run, you see, nothing has happened overnight. And Lasa is just listed. It is not even 1 year. Lasa is listed. Just have some patience, believe in me, and you will reap a very sweet fruits out of this. Please believe me. Please believe me.
Thank you very much, sir, for your assurance. But, there are certain ways, how you can build a reputable company by way of mergers or acquisition to a reputed group. So we have got certain parameters, certain strengths of our company which is not in the market.
Right.
With these strengths, with this infrastructure, with this business model, with this catalyst chemistry expertise, with this technological setup, can we rope in some bigger player from international or Indian so that, we can, showcase our capabilities and then ours can have a stake sale and the new company can support us in all our, financial ambitions and all. Can you please...
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Mr. Shetty, but maybe request you to rejoin the queue.
This was my second...
As several participants waiting in queue. Thank you. Before we take the next question, we'd like to inform participants that in order to ensure that the management is able to address questions from all participants in the conference, please limit your questions to one per participant. The next question is from the line of Vinod Gupta, who's an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Sir, we had planned for this rights issue. So why haven't we done anything about it since the past 3-4 months?
Sir, you are seeing the market? Hello?
Yes.
Sir, you must be certainly seeing the market, how turbulent it is. And any corporate action which is filed in such a kind of turbulent market situation, I feel that it would be really an injustice to the retail investors. So let the market stabilize. That's the reason why we deferred nothing is, abolished or abandoned as on the date. But let the market stabilize. We are already ready with the offer document, that is letter of offer, which is to be filed with SEBI. And we are just waiting for the markets to stabilize and things to, again, come to an equilibrium, like, the crude prices and whatever it may be. So once those are on place, rights issue will immediately trigger. And certainly rights is not cancelled, rights is just deferred. How soon it will happen will be, if you ask me, guidance for that, maybe in the second quarter, or we are planning in the second quarter, right? Maybe in the second quarter of this year, in this financial year, we may be coming up with the concrete rights proposal.
But in the interim, do we have enough cash? Because even now we are managing with very high levels of payables and debt is also kind of...
No, sir, we are not, there is no high payables, sir. There is no high payables. Payables are very much justified, sir. They are almost flat.
It has doubled, sir. In a year, it has doubled from...
But business is also grown by 25%, sir. On the contrary, it is... See, last year, one second, where is the payable? Last year.
This is last year.
See, last year the total payables was 25 crores. This year it has become 47 crores.
Yes.
Against which even the receivables have increased. 34 crores was the last year receivables. This year the receivables are 42 crores. And the inventory last year was 33 crores. This year it is 42 crores. If you go to see the complete net operating working capital cycle, it is 53 days in front of 72 days last year. So if you go to see the working capital cycle versus the receivables, payables and inventories, it is almost flat, sir.
Sir, but that is because we have stretched out our payment to vendors, right? I mean...
No, sir.
Like, because of the cash crunch, we have not paid our vendors.
Wait, one second. Mr. Hiral, can you please answer it?
See, hello?
Yeah.
In this current Q4, the inventory level is of around 42 crores. Receivable is around 42 crores and payable is around 47 crores.
Sir, your sales have gone up by 20-odd%. Your payables have doubled. Why?
Sorry, repeat again.
Your sales have gone up by 20-odd% in the entire year. But your
okay, you are comparing with the last year?
Yes.
Okay.
Are you paying your vendors on time?
Yes, we are paying the vendors on time. That is why the level of receivable and payables are same, around 42 and 47 crores.
No, sir, it was 25 crores. Let's see the page slide number 11 of your presentation.
Okay, it was 25 crores. Okay.
Yes, it has now doubled to 48 crores.
Yes, and correct. So even the receivables has gone up, right?
Receivables have gone up by 20-odd%, sir. Payables have doubled. Please use percentages.
Sir, yes, and inventory levels have also gone up from 33 to 42, right?
What is that increase, sir? That is 20-odd%, similar to the sales level. I'm talking about payables.
If we talk about the entire working capital cycle, right, it has gone from...
That is what I'm saying, sir. You are not paying to your vendors on time, maybe. Your payables, are you...
We have been extended with the credit. It is not that we are not paying the vendors. So, we are getting a good credit from the market. That is why the inventory levels have gone up. That is why we can stock the material. In such scenario, when the raw material pricing are going up like any, at whatever levels it is going, we have to stock the raw material. And our vendors are definitely supporting us on the same front. That is why the thing that has to be considered is the entire working capital cycle, which has reduced from 72 days to 53 days.
Thank you. We'll take the next question from Vinay Chabra, who's an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hello. Yeah, hi. Sir, I've been an investor with your company for a while now.
Right.
I just wanted to understand so I understand that the cost of raw materials has gone up significantly.
Right, sir.
What I'm concerned is the top line has been in the range of 58 to 60 crores for the last 5 quarters.
Right, sir.
In the last call, you had mentioned that our capacity is around 500 to 600 metric tons.
Mm-hmm.
And by FY19, we will be touching 1,000 metric tons.
For unit number 4, right?
Correct.
Mm.
If that is the case, it means that you need to double from 500 to 1,000 tons. With a stagnant top line, how is that achievable?
Sir, that unit number 5 capacity is not utilized for direct sale of our final product. It is unit 4, sorry, sir. It is a fully backward integrated unit and we are currently manufacturing 2,4-dichlorophenol over there, sir. So that top line is nothing to be correlated with the startup of the unit number 4.
would that not be a significant percentage of the sale?
No, sir. No. There is no, forget about significant. There is 0% of sale from unit number 4. Whatever capacity utilization is done is for making, is for the backward integration. So if you go to see as a component of the top line and the startup of unit number 4 and its correlation with the last 2 quarters, I think so it is not a comparable thing, or it is not a thing whereby there will be a jump in top line because of that.
Okay.
Thank you. The next question is from Rohit Srivastava, who's an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir, and thank you, Dr. Omkar. We understand your passion, but yes, it's a tough time. I don't particularly have any question. I just have a suggestion you might like to take or disagree. You understand that we have a good base of sales, around 250 crores, but market cap is very low. So maybe rather than going for right issue and more acquisition, we should work with what we have, try to fix the house, and maybe to build investor confidence, you can convert your debt into equity.
Right. Right.
Which will be helpful to you as well, because share price is very low, and it will build confidence.
Right, sir. Right, sir. We have acknowledged this, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next question is from Deepankar Nayak, who's an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah, a follow-up, Omkar. On the last quarter, when we had the conference call, just mid-Feb, and you gave a forecast that there will be 20-22% growth in top line and that your margins would be the same. But I assume in the middle of that quarter, you would be already hitting the high crude prices and your raw material prices then. But still, you gave a forecast for this quarter that it would be, but then it went out of line. So, did you hit the raw material prices after mid-Feb, or when you were giving the forecast?
These prices were growing since September onwards. These prices were growing steadily. However, we were not expecting such a kind of, worse jump in the price. Even the raw materials, which I just in my earlier questions with some of the investors, I had already specified the name of the raw materials also. One can check it from the public domain. And really the prices have gone 100%, even in some cases 500% also. So we are really helpless for that. I mean, such kind of forecast we never had. So while giving any kind of guidance, we usually assume a contingency of 20% or 30%. So that much is an absorbable contingency in the case of raw materials. In such 400 or 300% of contingency is never factored while giving any kind of guidance, sir.
So my question, Mr. Omkar, is you would be already facing that when we had the conference call last quarter. So shouldn't you have warned your investors that Q4 you wouldn't be able to meet the...
Sir, we were under the impression that is a peak. That is a peak and the raw material prices will come down. However, that hasn't happened. They are going on soaring and soaring day by day. It's really beyond our control.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Pankaj Vednekar, who's an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir.
Hello, sir.
Okay. I want to know what is the loan breakup. I had written to the company secretary, Hitesh, that I find some discrepancy in what is declared on the MCA website and what was discussed in the con call, right? But that was never answered. So now I want to know what is the promoter loan, what is the interest rate on the promoter loan?
See, the total promoter loan is 33 crores. You can take it on record. The promoter loan is 32. How much? Kitna hai? 32 crores, sorry. The promoter loan is 32 crores. It is an interest-free loan, which is being infused from so many years. In the last quarter, in the last half year, the total infused loan was 15 crores. So you can subtract 15 minus 32, whatever is there was the earlier loan, and in next half quarter it was 15 crores. Then the total borrowing, 1 minute. The total long-term borrowing as of the date is 60 crores. 60 crores as on FY17-18. This is full year, no?
Full year.
So 60 crores is the long-term borrowing, around approximately 30 crores is the short-term borrowing. So this is the current debt profile.
So total debt is now 120
60 plus 30, 60 plus 30. 90 crores.
Okay. Including the promoter loan, you are saying it is 90
Including the promoter loan. So you can subtract the 30 crores from it. So totally 90 minus 30 is the total loan in the company is 60 crores.
Sir, but if I see the MCA website, right, it says that Axis Bank loan is like 76 crores. And
76
I have one more.
crores. Axis Bank.
No. Sanction is of 76.
Sir, that is sanction. There is no disbursement which has happened.
Okay. One more thing was, I also see entry of some, Sahkari Bank there. So why are...
which one entry? DNSB, Dombivli Nagari Sahkari Bank. There is 1.8 crores is the total loan of Dombivli Nagari Sahkari Bank.
Okay, and that was picked up like on...
That was picked up for this Abhinandan Rasayan wala deal, the acquisition wala deal.
Okay, I see. Okay. Sir, and one more thing, I came to know that the bankers are asking you to get, another banker also,
No, nobody is asking, sir, as such. There is nothing in written.
Thank you. Next question is from Arpit Maheshwari from SSB Advisory Private Limited. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Sir, actually, you have a fire incident at your Mahad unit in the May itself.
No, sir, I am not able to get you, sir.
So, you have a fire incident at your Mahad unit.
Okay, please go ahead.
So, what are the delay in payables after the fire incident, and what is the current position now? And I also want to know that what is your current order book? Thank you.
On 26 April FY18, there was a fire incident which was reported in one of the companies located in MIDC Mahad. Since the fire was very severe and the entire area within 2 kilometer radius was immediately evacuated by the regulatory authorities without any prior intimation for the safety reasons, which resulted into halt of the entire production haphazardly, including even those batches which were also running in the process. So the company has not suffered as such any loss to life or injury, and also I'd like to state that all our hard assets are intact with no major impact. The company has all the insurance policies in place, which includes business interruption, material damage, loss of profit, fire, natural calamity, etc., to deal with some incidences. As you said that what is the impact on receivables and payables? There is no impact on receivables and payables because just for 48 hours this operations was halted, and there is no major impact on receivables, payables, or damage of batches or anything. So nothing is being adversely affected because of that.
Thank you. Before we take the next question, we'd like to remind participants, please limit your questions to one per participant. The next question is from Nanda E., who's an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
So I'm very happy to hear the assurance what you have given regarding the future of Lasa. But again, this is also subjected to the assumptions what you have currently, based on the assumption on the crude price or whatever it is.
Okay.
So the lifetime high of crude oil, if you see, is 120, and recent peak is around 80, if I'm not wrong. Okay. So what is our plan if the crude oil goes on increasing, the price of the crude goes on increasing like this? So what is the alternate plan we have? So even if it shoots up to 120, are we going to close the business?
No, sir. If it shoots to 120 or if it shoots to any level, there is something which is called as contracted orders. So the contracted orders, they are basically the milk producing companies and the chicken producing companies where we deal directly. So in that cases, the orders are not affected. They are reasonably passed on. To the formulators, the people who export the formulations, there the problem is there. There, we get resistance for the increment in the cost. So, and certainly it never happens like that the crude prices will go on. Now it has, the prices, if you will meticulously see over here what kind of raw materials have gone up, it is not the direct crude. Yeah, direct crude is up, but because of the direct crude, there are other things like hydrogen hydrate, which is indirectly dependent on the direct crude. There is a product like thiophenol, which is again indirect on the crude, which is not a direct crude related substance. Okay, so these prices have increased. And if you go to see the increase in the price, the reasons are very silly. Because the crude prices of one of the Japanese plant have shut down making thiophenol. They thought that they will take a breakdown for 3 months and then refurbish their plant. And these are the reasons which are given by the Japanese and Chinese people about to an extent. So, you know, it is not only the crude price, and I don't think it will go on and go on like, you know, that business one day will come to a halt. This is a very unlikely situation, and if it happens with us, then it will happen with other guys also who are, you know, depending on the same kind of raw materials.
Thank you. The next question is from Brijbhushan Tyagi. Doctor, please go ahead.
Yeah. Dr. Harlikar, I just want to know who are the other major manufacturers of, your kind of API, this benzimidazole class of APIs in India?
In India, the benzimidazole class of APIs is only manufactured by Sequent Scientific.
Yes. My other question is that, your agreement you signed with the CIDIC of China, have some transactions taken place on this?
Major transactions. We have almost कितने करोड़ का import हुआ है CIDIC से? See, I'll come back to you over the total revenue, import revenue, you know, the cost of material purchased from CIDIC versus the amount of products sold to CIDIC also in the current financial year, in the last financial year, that is FY18. So we have the entire data. I mean, like, you can write to us, I can give you the breakup of that.
Thank you. Next question is from Pawan Jaju, who's an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon. So I think there are a couple of things that I wanted to just make sure I understand. One is in terms of the transparency with respect to dealings between Lasa and Omkar. I know both are demerged entities, but whenever there is some sort of news flow that comes in for Omkar, definitely Lasa gets impacted. So what level of transparency do you intend to bring in to the investors so that we are assured that there is no linkages between the fortunes of the two companies?
Boss, you can come to my office and see my books. That is the best transparency I can offer you.
Thank you. The next question is from Harish Shayad, who's an individual investor.
Hello. Good afternoon, doctor.
Afternoon, sir.
On slide number 10, you have said that the other expenses are inclusive of some demerger expenses and expenses have gone up from 12 crores to 20 crores. Can you quantify what are those expenses, what type of expenses, and when it was spent?
Where is it? Let's see. I have to refer, sir. Just you have to give me some time. Just a minute.
Yeah. It's slide number 10. You can refer.
Where is this? Other expenses, na? Kitna hai?
20.
Last year it was how much?
Last year it was 12.
See, last year anyway it was 12 CR.
Yeah.
This year it is 20 CR. So there is a deficit of only 8 crores. Okay?
Yeah.
Expenses are mainly on the account of incurred in the demerger process, the lawyer fees, the cost of NCLT, the stamp duty for demerger and everything.
I understand, but I'm asking what is the quantum of those expenses so that it will not get incurred next year. I want to understand that amount.
This is around 6 crores.
When it was spent, it was throughout the year or how it was? Because, per quarter is 4 to 6 crores per month, per quarter 4 to 5 crores you have spent.
Of course, 4 to 5 crores per quarter is... Sorry? See, no. Stamp duty is a one-time expense. However, there are other contingent expenses also, which will come on in the upcoming days also. See, for running an organization, some other expenses are needed to be factored, like lawyers and solicitors and many other things, regulatory expenses and many other things, sir. So, these are expected to, of course, in this year, whatever expenses are incurred, certainly in the upcoming year, the expenses will be reduced to an extent of around 4 to 6 crores.
Thank you. Next question is from Diwar, who's an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. I just wanted to know what is the free cash we have generated for this financial year 18?
Zero. No free cash is generated.
Post
to, debt repayment, and we are continuously blowing back whatever generated money into business itself to sustain the operations. So for the next 2 years, I don't think there will be any free cash generated from the business, sir, at least up till FY19.
What will be the annual capex plan?
Annual capex plan will be at least, you may say, around, say, 10% of the top line, sir.
10% of including R&D? Or
I'm talking just approximate figures, sir. This is just
just R&D.
It will all depend on acquisitions or else any other things or else, major breakdown or anything. We don't foresee any major breakdown, but approximately 10% to 12% would be the annual capex plan.
Thank you. Next question is from Dinesh Kumar from Wealth Bulls. Please go ahead.
Yes. Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Omkar.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
I have 2 questions, but it's nothing about figures, so you could sum it up very shortly. My question number 1, in the next 5 years, how Lasa Supergenerics will look like? How we are doing with R&D? The growth we should only be organic way, or you are planning for some inorganic acquisitions or something?
It will be a mix and match, sir. It will be a mix and match, not purely organic, not purely inorganic also. And we will focus on only those areas for inorganic acquisitions where we feel that the backward integration edge can add something to the incoming business. In case of the existing business, we will try to improve yields, we will try to improve the effluent outgo and the byproduct recovery and yield optimization and many more things. The segment into which we are dealing is a very niche segment where there is hardly any competition, major competition. And if you give me some time for at least 1 or 2 years more, Lasa will be a self-explanatory model.
Okay. Yes, my question number 2, what are the key reasons that Lasa has to be demerged from Omkar? Is it purely because of the personal reasons between you and your father, or it has to do something with the company?
There are many things, sir. There are many things. One is, the family division is one of the aspects to it. Second is that both businesses are different with different customers, regulatory appetite, geographies also. And finally, even the working capital model is different for both the companies. So that was the rationale behind the demerger, sir.
Thank you. Due to time constraints, we'll be able to take one last question. Last question is from Janardhan Natarajan, who's an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
I want to know, we are spending on R&D. Do we have a dedicated R&D lab? Or where is it located?
We have a dedicated R&D lab. This is located in Mahad. Okay. And in our Mahad unit number 1, which is their mother unit of Lasa, there is the R&D lab where it is located. And there are almost 10 people, 10 scientists working over there full time into process improvisation and many other aspects which will add on to the EBITDA margins.
Okay. So one last question. So we had appointed joint auditors. What is the logic of appointing joint auditors?
Yeah. See, our sole reason behind appointing a joint auditor was to speed up the SEBI filing of our letter of offer for the proposed rights issue and our planned rights issue. However, going further, we observed that there was a potential conflict of interest between the 2 auditors, which was just slowing down our whole process rather than expediting. Hence, we found it appropriate to continue with only one statutory auditor for a healthy and a smooth process.
Thank you. We'll be able to take one last question. The last question is from Abhijit Avaikar, who's an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hi, Dr. Omkar.
Hi, sir.
Promoter proposed Vishnu Gupta's name as director, but while voting, they voted against the proposal. So why is that?
See, Mr. Vishnu Gupta is a very experienced person with a great industry knowledge. He remains with the organization still even at the senior management level. However, due to internal reasons, he was not found suitable to remain on the board. But he still continues to be a part of our core KMP team. The reasons and deliberations taken by the board are of sensitive and confidential nature to the business and organization, and therefore these internal reasons cannot be disclosed, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, friends, for joining the concall. I hope Lasa a very bright and vibrant future in the days to come. Please be with us and remain with us.